Pop. It's not time for dinner yet.
Is it dinner yet?
In about a half hour. Nobody's home. Why don't you stay in your room? It's warm up there.
Maybe I'll walk down to the store and get a cigar.
It's 12 degrees out. There's ice on the streets. Eugene will get you a cigar when he gets home.
I like cold weather.
You're always complaining you're freezing.
I don't like it cold in the house, but I like it outside. I've got nothing to read. Maybe I'll go to the library.
It's 6 o'clock. The library's closed. Eugene has a million books upstairs.
I don't read what he reads.
He has everything.
He doesn't have a book about Trotsky.
You just finished a book about Trotsky.
One book doesn't cover Trotsky. Thursdays, they stay open till 7.
This is Friday.
All right, listen, I'll take a chance.
You want to slip and fall and break your hip again? You're not even wearing shoes. You were going to walk in the snow in your slippers?
I'll put on my galoshes.
What's in the brown paper bag?
Where?
In your hand. What do you got in there?
It's nothing. It's garbage. I was going to throw it away.
Give it to me. I'll put it in the trash can.
Will you stop treating me like a child? I'm your father. I'll do what I want. When I'm dead, you'll treat me like a child.
You're not going to the library. You were going someplace else. Now, where were you going?
I'll go where I want, and if you don't like it, I'll move in with Blanche. She treats me with respect. Don't interfere with me.
You never go out at 6 o'clock. Something is going on here. Now, if there's something in that bag that's so important, you give it to me, and I'll take it wherever you want.
The day I can't take care of my own things, then they'll be praying for me in the synagogue. Kate, don't!
What is this? Is this your bed sheet? Where were you going with it?
To the Chinese laundry, they never close. I want it back, please.
So you soiled your bed sheet and you didn't want to tell me. Why? You have been washing your sheets since I'm 10 years old. So you had an accident pop up. It's all right.
I had accidents at night. This is the first time during the day.
So what else have I got to do with my time? There's no one in the house anymore anyway. Take your coat off. You'll catch a cold.
Not a word, you promised me? I couldn't stay here if the boys knew.
The boys? Who sees the boys? I forgot what they look like.
Oh, my God. Hi, Grandpa. Did you hear? This is the coldest day in the history of the earth. Is Stanley home yet? Stan!
What are you yelling for? I hear you.
I was yelling upstairs for Stanley. Why are you sitting in your coat?
What?
Why are you sitting in your coat?
I was going outside. Your mother changed my mind.
You're better off. It's freezing. I saw a man kissing his wife on the corner, and they got stuck to each other. Mr. Jacobs, the tailor, is blowing hot steam on them.
2 people got stuck.
If they can't get them apart, they're going to have to sew all their clothes together.
They can't get them apart?
It was a joke, Grandpa.
That's a joke. What kind of joke?
Well, I made it up. It's not really a joke. It's just funny.
To who?
To me.
So if it's funny to you, what are you telling it to me for?
The strange thing about my grandfather is he has totally no sense of humor. None. But everything he says I think is funny. Maybe because he doesn't mean it to be. If he tried to be funny, he wouldn't be. Where's Mom?
What kind of animal wears a zipper?
A zipper?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What kind?
A horsefly.
See what I mean?
That's a joke. Not 2 people got stuck together. Do you understand?
Yes, Grandpa. Thanks for the priceless information. My mother and father are the same way. I could say something so funny that the pictures on the walls would get cramps from laughing, and those 3 just stare at me like dead bodies. I'm trying to become a comedy writer one day, and this is the encouragement I get.
What kind of fish sings an opera?
What kind of fish sings an opera?
Yeah.
I give up. What kind?
A halibut.
A halibut?
I got it wrong. I thought it was a halibut, but it don't sound right.
All right. I guarantee a halibut is funnier than the real answer. I mean, look at him sitting there with his hat on. If he put it on to be funny, it would be dumb, but he doesn't know he's got it on, so it's hysterical.
Does a mackerel sound right?
Don't work on it, Grandpa. It'll come to you. My brother Stanley is the only one who appreciates my humor. When I make Stanley laugh, I feel like Charles Lindbergh landing in Paris. And Stanley comes up with great ideas. That's why the two of us teamed up. We're going to be a comedy writing team. The Jack Benny Show was brought to you by Lucky Strike and was written by Sam Perrin, Nate Monister, Milt Josephsberg, and Stanley and Eugene M. Jerome.
What are you eating an apple for? I made chocolate pudding.
What, it's not a fatal combination, Mom. Where's Pop? I have to talk to everybody.
I don't think he'll be home for dinner tonight.
Again? That's twice this week. So what are you setting his place for?
The hell with him. That's what I'm setting his place for.
Grandpa, what's wrong with Mom? Did she and Pop have another fight?
It's none of my business.
You know what's going on. She talks to you. You can tell me.
She used to talk to me. She doesn't talk to me anymore.
She snaps at everybody now. Even Stanley can't get a rise from her.
Yeah, she was always like that. Even as a child, she could shut off for a month.
I can't picture her as a girl. Was she really supposed to be such a good dancer?
I only saw her once. I didn't like to go to those places. She used to win cups at those dance places.
Yeah, the
there was
Primrose
that. It was near Long Beach.
Yeah, the Primrose.
And it was a big dance place in those days. Yeah, the Primrose Ballroom.
Right. Even his timing was terrific. He was the greatest teacher of comedy I ever met. Only he didn't even know I was studying him.
Yeah, she was a terrific dancer.
She told me once she danced with George Raft.
Who?
George Raft, the movie actor.
Oh, I know who he is. Yeah, sure, she danced with him. He wasn't a star then. He was, a greasy-looking kid. He would go around to all the different ballrooms, pick out the best dancers, and he danced with him. She was, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 years old. Not pretty. She was never pretty, but she was graceful on her feet.
Why didn't she ever try to become a professional? Wasn't she good enough?
She had the accident. She burned half the skin off her back. 12 girls died in that fire. The owner of the shop went to jail. There was no back door, no ventilation. She didn't walk for a year after that. She never went back to that beach again, not with her back like that. Her sister Blanche was a beautiful girl. Boys used to line up outside the house just to look at her. But Blanche, she couldn't dance a note. Nah.
What are you two talking about?
About when you used to dance with George Raft?
You see, Pop, he still doesn't believe me.
Well, who said? I believe you. One day I'm going to write a movie starring George Raft. He goes into this club, takes your hand, and dances a tango with you.
I did the foxtrot better. Make it a foxtrot.
What was the name of that place where you danced?
The Primrose Ballroom.
That's it, the Primrose.
Okay, listen, everybody. I have major news. This is serious.
Where's Stanley? The pot roast is half dry.
Well, listen to me, will you? I have to talk to you.
Pop, you want a little wine with dinner tonight?
No wine for me. It's too much acid. I'll have a beer.
We're out of beer.
You're out of beer. You got wine?
If I could just get these two on television. Now, would you please come in here and sit down? I have spectacular news for this family.
What family? You see a family in here?
Please, sit. Grandpa. Okay, ready? I wish to announce that your youngest son, Eugene Morris Jerome, is getting married.
To a Jewish girl.
He's kidding, Pop. He's not even going with anyone, so how's he getting married?
True. I'm not going with her yet, but I've seen her. Her name is Josie. I spoke to her, I had lunch with her. I saw the color of her eyes. This is marriage, Mom. This is the girl for the rest of my life.
This is the girl you met last summer.
No, I hate that girl. I never liked her.
You went with her the whole summer.
I had nothing else to do. She was nice on the first date. Part of the first date. Until 9:30.
You liked the girl till 9:30?
He's kidding, Pop. It's a joke.
Oh, that's a joke, too. Ask him to tell you about the people that got stuck together.
This girl is serious. I knew it the minute I saw her. Her father owns a music company on the same floor where I work. She writes poetry, she paints. Her father hung her paintings all over his office. She's incredible. She plays golf, she plays tennis, she plays softball. She's been to Europe. She hums Bach and Beethoven, and she can whistle Rachmaninoff. She has jet black hair and olive skin, and when she walks down the street, construction workers fall into cement. If I live to be 100, I'll never meet a girl like her again, Mom.
She likes you too.
Likes me? I took her to lunch, and we ate from the same chopsticks. We couldn't stop talking philosophy, literature, sports.
I never heard you so excited about a girl.
There's one minor complication. She's engaged to be married.
She's what?
He's kidding. It's another joke.
No. She's engaged to a Harvard law student, but I'm not worried. I think I got the inside track.
I have to go check the pot roast.
She's breaking it off. She's not in love with him. She told him, but he doesn't care. He wants to marry her anyway. That's how great she is. If she was marrying him, would she have had lunch with me today?
Maybe she's looking for wedding gifts.
Grandpa!
She sounds fickle, if you ask me.
I want to bring her to dinner. I wanted to meet the family.
It's been a long time since his family ate together.
On a Sunday? Everybody's home on a Sunday, all right?
We'll see. A lot can happen between now and then. She sounds like a nice girl, but eat from your own chopsticks.
She never turned down a chance to cook for someone before. Something's really wrong between her and Pop, isn't it, Grandpa? Grandpa, did you hear me yet? He's sleeping. He's probably working on the halibut joke.
Where are you going? It's almost ready.
I'm not leaving the country.
Grandpa, is Jean home? Jean! Jean!
What the hell are you screaming for?
Oh, I'm sorry, Grandpa. I didn't know you were sleeping.
Then ask me. If you asked me, I would have told you.
You walk in the snow without your rubbers? The pot roast is half dry. Tell Eugene it's dinner.
We don't have time for dinner, Mom. Maybe we'll take a sandwich later.
What do you mean, no dinner?
We gotta get right to work. Jean!
I have been cooking since 2 o'clock. Your father doesn't come home for dinner. Now you tell me no dinner? What am I, a slave around here? Sit down, Papa. It's ready.
You gotta listen.
What are you doing now? Whatever you're doing, forget about it. Back upstairs. We gotta start right into work. Oh, and Ma, no calls. If anybody calls, take a message. Tell them we'll get back to them tomorrow. Oh, and we might be up all night, so don't get nervous if you hear us yelling or anything. Well, come on, what are you standing around for? We're wasting time.
Wait a minute. You mind telling me what this is about?
We got a job at CBS. The Columbia Broadcasting System. I can't believe how much I did today. I went everywhere. I met everybody. I mean, I would make a terrific agent. I was talking to these people like they were my friends. I met Abe Burrows. He said to me, "Good luck, kid." Abe Burrows, only the greatest comedy writer in the business. I was on the executive floor, long hallways, pictures of every star in CBS history. Jack Benny, Ed Sullivan, Arthur Godfrey, Edward R. Murrow.
You met them.
No, they're pictures. There's so much to tell, I don't even know where to begin. I'm still shaking, I'm so excited. Come on, we gotta get right to work.
Oh, wait a minute. Do you mean the real CBS?
No, the fake one.
Can't you talk about this over dinner?
Is that all you're worried about? Your dinner? Maybe the greatest thing that ever happened in our lives? All you care about's a lousy pot roast?
Just like your father. You're getting to be more like your father every day. Next thing I know, you'll turn Eugene against me, too.
Ma, I'm sorry. Shit.
What did you say?
He didn't mean anything.
All right, tell me slow. Tell me everything. What kind of a job did we get? When do we start? How much money do we get?
I didn't discuss details. If they like the sketch we bring in, they'll hire us.
If they like the sketch, then they'll hire us? You mean it's not a job, it's an audition?
It's a job. They just have to like it first, that's all.
I knew it was too good to be true.
Hey, leave the business to me. I got us the audition, didn't I?
So it is an audition. Why can't you say so? I don't mind an audition, but you make it sound like we're leaving for Hollywood tomorrow.
Oh, we discussed Hollywood. I said we would have no problem in going to Hollywood. We could leave immediately if they wanted.
CBS asked if we wanted to move to Hollywood?
No, I brought it up so they'd know how we felt. You have to have confidence when you talk to these people. That's why I introduced myself to Abe Burrows.
You introduced yourself?
In the elevator. I said,
Mr. Burroughs, maybe the greatest thing that could ever happen to me is to work as a writer on your staff. And he said, good luck, kid, and got off on the 12th floor.
That's why he said good luck. You made it sound like you had lunch with him or something.
What, did you talk to Abe
Well,
Burroughs?
it's not exactly talking to Abe Burroughs. That's like the Pope waving to you in the Vatican.
Eugene, you talk to people like that 3-4 times in an elevator, pretty soon they start to remember you. God, I'm starving. You got anything to eat in your room? Some cookies or something?
Why do we have dinner first?
No, we got to start right into work. We don't have time to eat.
If you can eat cookies, you can eat hot roast. It just takes another few minutes to chew it.
Yeah, all right. Go downstairs and make us some sandwiches. We can eat up here while we work. Oh, yeah, bring some milk, would you? And there's some dessert. Piece of cake, whatever we got.
How late are we going to work?
Well, until we're finished. Maybe all night. CBS wants a sketch tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
They want a finished sketch by 10 o'clock in the morning?
That's how television works, Eugene. They want it good, but they want it fast. They put these shows on every week, not twice a year.
We never wrote a sketch in less than 3 weeks. And we only wrote one sketch. We didn't even finish it. And the first part needs rewriting. Maybe we're not ready for CBS yet.
You want me to call them up and tell them that? They'll never hire us. If that kind of work gets around, we're through with all the networks.
What, you think CBS is going to call up ABC and NBC and tell them 2 guys auditioning from Brighton Beach can't be depended on?
Maybe. You want to take that chance?
Do you actually believe our names are going to come up at a meeting between ABC and NBC? We're not even writers yet. You're the manager of Boys Clothing at Abraham and Strauss. I work in the stockroom of a music company. Our names don't even come up where we work.
What's the matter, Eugene? Are you afraid? If you're afraid, tell me. You have to have confidence in this world. If you don't have confidence, I'll always be in boys' clothing, and you'll always be in the stockroom.
Why will you always be in boys' clothing if I have no confidence? Your career doesn't depend on my confidence.
Yes, it does. I need you. You need me. We're a team. You've got a great comic mind, Eugene, and I'm the best idea man and editor in the business.
Well, you really believe that?
Absolutely. I mean, I've got an eye for talent, and we got talent. When DiMaggio came up from San Francisco, didn't I tell you he'd be the greatest ball player of all time?
Because he was already a great ball player in San Francisco. Why are we so great? We sold 3 comedy monologues to a guy who plays weddings and bar mitzvahs.
Right. And his salary tripled in the last 3 months. Now all the young comics are coming to us. How do you think I got us the audition? My friend Mort Garfield, the press agent, showed some of those monologues to the head of comedy development. Eugene, I'm going to get us everything we ever dreamed of. If you don't have faith, I got enough faith for both of us. Please, trust me. Now go downstairs and get us some sandwiches so we can start working on some ideas.
I didn't know we were going to work tonight.
Well, we are. Oh, put some lettuce on my sandwich, will you? Maybe some mayonnaise?
The thing is, I wanted to see this girl tonight.
Well, now you won't see her. Oh, don't forget to bring the cucumbers.
I could leave by 7 and be back by 9. I can write on the subway. I just have to see her, Stan.
You can see her any time. What's wrong with you?
She's engaged to a guy from Harvard. She wants to break it off, but he's coming in tomorrow to talk her back into it. If I don't convince her I'm the guy for her, he's liable to talk her into going through with it.
Eugene, if he can talk her into it, what do you want her for?
Because she's perfect. And you only get one chance in your life of meeting a perfect girl.
Eugene, do you know how many perfect girls there are in Hollywood? They're all perfect! In 2 years, you'll be sick of perfect girls. You'll be on your knees begging for a plain one.
An hour and a half. That's how I'll be gone. If I don't talk to her face to face, I'll lose her, Stan. I know it.
Eugene, as much confidence as I have in us, I don't have that much confidence we can finish a sketch by tonight. But we gotta try. You remember the story Pop told us about how he had a chance to go into business with a friend of his? He stayed up all night thinking about it, couldn't make up his mind, and a week later, it was too late. Now his friend's living on Park Avenue, Pop's still cutting raincoats. This may be the only chance we'll ever get, Eugene. Well, maybe not, but, are you willing to risk all that for some girl you might not even be interested in next week?
I'll be interested in her for the rest of my life.
Then go. Go visit your girlfriend. Take all the time you want, Eugene. I'll write the sketch myself. This is one opportunity I'm not gonna blow.
Never mind, I won't see her.
I'll do it myself.
Don't do me any favors.
Are you eating or not?
We're having sandwiches upstairs, so ABC and NBC won't be mad at us.
Hello, Papa.
Who's that? Oh, Blanche, I didn't hear your limousine pull up.
It's not a limousine, Papa. It's just a plain Cadillac.
Yeah, like John D. Rockefeller's a plain businessman.
He got stuck in the snow, just like other cars. I had to walk the last 2 blocks. Where's Kate?
What happened to that colored fella that drives you around?
Robert, he's still with us. He was calling the garage to get us pulled out.
Yeah, you pay him enough money, he could have carried you here.
Why didn't you tell me you were coming? I could have made extra dinner.
Why? Somebody else is eating beside me.
I didn't come for dinner. I wanted to talk to Papa.
You had to come out in this weather. We have a telephone now too, you know.
Mom, I'm having trouble with the pot roast.
What'd you do?
Hello, Aunt Blanche.
Hello, Eugene.
I didn't slice it right. I shredded it. It looks like shoelaces.
I told you to let me do it. Why do I bother cooking for?
How's Nora?
She's fine. Her children are wonderful. She thinks the new baby looks just like you. He's gonna be so handsome.
Is that what she said? What did she name him?
Myron Isaac.
Myron Isaac. Myron Isaac Eisenberg. Poor kid. Just wait till he tries to date a girl from Mount Holyoke.
Eugene, what did you do to this meat?
I killed it, Mom. It was him or me. I killed the pot roast.
Mama is sick, Pop.
That's a beautiful coat. What do you need a coat like that for with a Cadillac?
The doctor tells me if I don't move her to Florida, he can't guarantee what'll happen to her.
I thought we had a bargain.
I'm not talking about Mama. It's not a bargain, Papa. It's a punishment to me, to Mama, the whole family. And I'm not leaving here tonight until we talk about her.
So who's stopping you? Take her to Florida. She'll outlive the palm trees, believe me.
He's so cruel sometimes.
What did I say? I wish her a long life. You come here and you aggravate me while I'm eating dinner, and I'm cruel.
You know what she says to me at night? The very last thing before she goes to bed, she says to me, "Why does that man hate me so much?" What do I answer her, Pop?
You don't. She'll ask the same thing tomorrow. Her whole day is built around, why does he hate me so much? She sits on strange benches and asks strange women, why does he hate me so much?
Why do you?
Who said I did? She did. I didn't say it. I have feelings for the woman. I always will. But I can't live her kind of life, and she knows that. I hope she lives another 50 years, whether it's on Park Avenue or Miami Beach. But these are my roots. This is where I've lived most of my life. This is where I want to die.
She's sick, Papa. This is not the place for her. The cold wind coming off the ocean would kill her in 2 years. Thank God I can afford to send the both of you to a warmer climate. It would make all of us so happy to see the both of you living together in comfort for the rest of your lives.
Comfort doesn't make me happy. I don't need a place where it's hot 12 months out of the year. April to October is all the sun God meant us to have. To want more is a crime against those who were born without. Read your Trotsky.
Don't turn this political, Papa. This is not political.
Everything is political. The soup in my dish is political. The bread on my plate is political. And your $4,000 coat on your back is political. Don't tell me about things I was taught from the day I was born.
Mama's health is not political. Mama's love for you is not political. When you can't find a reasonable answer for something, you always turn to Trotsky for help.
You're angry with me because I won't live in your fancy apartment house, where a year's rent is enough to feed all the people on this block for a year? With a man in a uniform who opens up the door for me, who's 10 years older than I am. I'm not dead yet. I can still push open the door. Because I don't go to your fancy Park Avenue doctors 4 times a week? How much money did he get for telling your mother that she should move to Florida? I got friends who could have told her to move for nothing.
Why are you so angry with me? Because you were brought up to despise the rich. I didn't marry Saul because he was rich. I'm so used to not spending money. He had to teach me how to do it. But if he is loving enough to offer my parents the opportunity to live out the rest of their lives without worrying for the first time in their lives about where the rent is coming from, what in God's name is wrong with it?
I can't leave here. Not now.
Not now? Well, then when?
Are you so blighted by your own life that you don't see what's going on with your sister? Do you know what's happening between her and Jack?
No, what are you talking about?
He's getting ready to leave her tomorrow, next week, next month, who knows? He don't have the courage yet to go, but he's going, trust me.
I don't believe that, not Jack.
No, not Jack, she says. A man gets older, he changes. He suddenly realizes he only has a few years left to do what he thought he had a lifetime to do.
Jack loves Kate. He's always loved her.
Absolutely. But at 55, he can overlook it.
He depends on her. She manages his life.
Yeah, lucky for her. Otherwise, he would have left last year.
Oh, God, don't tell me this. It's the last thing I ever expected to hear.
Do you understand why I'm telling you why I can't leave this house? Stanley and Eugene are grown men. Their lives are just starting. It's time for them to take and move out of this place. Do you know what it would be like for her to be left alone? A woman who knows nothing at all except how to serve someone? If she doesn't have somebody to make dinner for, her life is over. You take your mother to Florida. You take care of her. But as long as I'm alive, I'll eat in this house.
Your dinner will be ready in a second, Grandpa. Mom is sewing the pot roast back together.
Maybe Jack won't leave. Maybe they'll work things out.
Maybe. I'll stay here until maybe.
Oh, I would do anything in the world for Kate. But I have to take care of Mama first. If I take her down to Florida, I can only stay a few weeks. I can't leave Saul to spend the winter in New York alone. But she doesn't know anyone down there. She cries now when she thinks about it. Just stay with her until spring, until April. Kate is strong. She can take care of herself.
When did your mother ever have trouble making friends? In 2 weeks that she'll be down there. She'll be running for mayor. If she needs me, if she gets sick, I'll come to her. But I've got my work to do here. This country is getting richer every day from war profits. And into whose pockets you think it goes? To the ones who had the money before the war.
I am not equipped to argue these things with you, Papa. I don't understand them. I never did. But I respect what you think is right. All I'm saying is, does it have to be in Brighton Beach? Can't you change the world from Florida?
You could change your bathing suits in Florida, not the world.
Why do we have so much trouble understanding each other?
Aunt Blanche is here. She's trying to get Grandpa.
Will you shut up? Will you be quiet while I'm trying to think?
What, you have an idea?
Just shut up,
What,
will you?
so I can think about it too.
It's not an idea. It's the beginning of an idea. It's a speck, a thought, a tiny germ in my mind. You forgot the cucumbers.
How about a college sketch? College sketches are always funny.
Like what?
Like this girl from Mount Holyoke, Patsy O'Hara, goes out on a blind date with a boy named Myron Isaac Eisenberg.
I hate funny names. That's a cheap way of getting a laugh.
I don't know. Why don't you try it out on Aunt Blanche?
What if, God forbid, Jack did leave her? What if the boys moved out? Saul and I could take care of her. She doesn't have to stay here. We could get a place in Florida for all 3 of you. Then you wouldn't have to worry about Kate or Mama.
You think she would leave this house? You think she would take charity from her own sister?
I took it from her when I needed it. Where was I going to go when Dave died? And there's no shame in it when it's your own family. I would be paying her back for what she did for me and the girls.
Don't you know your own sister better by now? No. I don't think you do.
Sometimes, Papa, I think you don't approve of me. Sometimes I think you don't even like me very much.
I've got 3 daughters. I love them the same, but the one who's in trouble, that's the one I help.
Doesn't that include your own wife? Why am I the only one in the family who wants to help Mama?
Because you're the only one that can afford it. Don't ask for too much, Blanche. When you live on Park Avenue, sympathy don't go with it.
What's new inside your brain, Stanley?
Ah! You are an infant. I have a goddamn infant for a partner. Will you just wait in your room until I call for you when I think of an idea?
I want to help you.
I said wait in your room until I call for you.
Yes, Heathcliff. I'll be waiting on the moors.
And don't forget the cucumbers.
It's very hard writing with your brother because your whole relationship gets in the way. Can you imagine Hamlet, written by William and Harvey Shakespeare?
This is for Nora's baby. If she doesn't like the color, I can exchange
I'm
it.
sure she'll love it. She's coming over Sunday with the baby. It would be a wonderful time for the whole family to get together before Mama leaves for Florida. Please come.
It's a long trip on the train for Papa.
I could send a car.
Yeah, a socialist riding in the back seat of a Cadillac with a colored man driving.
You could let me know at the last minute.
Are you sure you can't stay for dinner?
I told Mama we'd start to pack tonight. If I don't help her, she'd try and get her furniture in the suitcase. Papa, would you call Mama during the week and just say hello?
I got a lot of meetings this week.
He'll call.
If I find the time.
He'll call.
I wish I could stay. I wish we had more time to talk. Well, I'll call you tomorrow. Sometimes I miss this house so much. I miss how good we were to each other.
Blanche, I need to talk to you. Not on the phone. Could we meet somewhere in the city? Well, I could buy you lunch. Tomorrow, the next day, whenever it's good for you.
Of course, Kate. Tomorrow, as early as you want.
You know I need to ask this.
Papa,
Oh,
what's
my
wrong?
God. Oh, Papa, breathe.
You all
Deep
right?
breath. Is it your heart?
Oh, his hands are as cold as
Here, here's
ice.
some water. Drink some water. You
It's
wanna
all
lie
right. I'm all right. I got dizzy for a second. I was hungry. You could wait forever to get something to eat around here.
It's this climate 2 blocks from the ocean in February. How can you keep the cold out of the house?
It's not the cold, it's not the climate, it's nerves, that's what it is.
How do you know it isn't your heart? You haven't seen a doctor in over a year.
A heart attack God gives you. Nerves you get from people who worry about you too much.
Was that meant for me, Papa?
It was meant for both of us. You learn not to pay any attention to it. He doesn't mean it.
He can't stand the winters here any more than Mama can. I don't mean to upset you, Papa. If you're happier here, then stay. Forget what we talked about. I'll get somebody to take care of Mama. I'll work it out myself.
All right, Blanche, let it go. We've got time yet.
Why is it so hard for us to talk to each other? Why is it so hard for you to take anything from me? I'm afraid to kiss you when I see you. I know how uncomfortable it makes you. Why is that, Papa?
You ask too much of me! I'm not an affectionate man. I don't trust affection. Sometimes people give it to you instead of the truth.
I see. And what's the truth about me, Papa? Have I betrayed you because the man that I married became rich? When I met him, he was on the verge of bankruptcy. Whatever he got, he earned. Whatever he has, he worked for.
Blanche, stop it. You've said enough. Everyone
No,
has said
let
enough.
her say what she wants. She's a good girl, my Blanche. Only sometimes she forgets where she came from. Is it cold outside, Blanche? You bet your life it is. Is it hard on the people who live here? Ask them, they'll tell you. Take them all to Florida. They'll put up a statue of you on the boardwalk. You can't all escape, Blanche. They don't all get a ticket to Miami.
And my sin is that I can afford to buy you one?
There is no sin, Blanche. You're a generous woman, even I know that. Thank God you can take care of your mother. But I can't enjoy the benefits of a society that made my daughter rich and starves half of the people in the country.
I can't take care of all the people in the country. I didn't ask for all this. I was happier when I had no money and Dave was alive. But I will not curse God for giving me a kind and loving husband. Yes, a mink coat and a Cadillac car. You want them, take them. I didn't ask for it. I found the coat in my closet on my birthday, so I'm good it does. It keeps out the cold, but it also stops my father from reaching out and holding me. Is that the politics you believe in, Papa?
I believe in what I was taught from the day I was born.
And I believe in what I was taught too. I was taught that a family who loves each other takes care of each other. You're 77 years old, Papa. You've done enough. You've worked hard all your life. It's time to play pinochle and walk on the beach. Maybe you'll meet a few retired socialists. I'll see you tomorrow, Kate.
Let me see what happens. Well, I'll call you in the morning.
I love you, Papa. And I'll accept whatever affection you can give me. But you're not going to stop me and Mama from giving you ours. We're women. We don't know any better.
And you see now why I want to write comedy? Even God has a terrific sense of humor. Why else would he make Grandpa a dedicated socialist, fighting against the wealthy class his whole life, and then give him a daughter who marries the richest guy in the garment district? I wonder if we could sell it to CBS.
Why don't you finish your dinner, Papa?
I'm not hungry anymore.
You'll change your mind. I'll leave it in the oven.
You think I don't know what's going on between you and Jack? That's what you wanted to talk to Blanche about, wasn't it?
You spoke to Jack?
I spoke to nobody. You don't get to be 77 without noticing a few things.
Nothing's going on.
If you could tell your sister, why can't you tell me?
Maybe because I'm afraid you'll think it's all my fault.
Is it?
You see? That's why I'm afraid to talk to you.
There's so much material in this house. Maybe I don't have to become a writer. If only I could get enough people to pay for seats in the living room.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
What?
I just had an idea. Maybe the funniest idea I ever thought of. I was hysterical just picturing
So
it.
what's wrong?
I remembered I saw it last week on the Red Skelton show. Can you imagine if we brought this into CBS? They'd grab us by our collars and crotches and throw us out on the streets in front of 8 boroughs.
Well, what's the idea? Maybe we can twist it around.
Twist it around, we write comedy. We don't make pretzels. We're supposed to be new. We're supposed to be original. We don't steal from other people's shows.
What are you, the district attorney of comedy?
Look, we're wasting time. What have you got?
Me? I don't have anything.
Well, what have you been doing all this time?
I was trying to think of a way to grow cucumbers in my bedroom. Here, look at this.
God, are you lazy? Let me ask you something.
Oh, God, I hate it when you say, let me ask you something.
Let me ask you something. Are you serious about writing or not?
Yes?
Yes, what?
Yes, I'm serious about writing.
Nah, I don't think you are.
I am, Stanley. I'm kind of footloose and fancy-free by cucumbers, but I'm serious about writing.
You can say what you want to. I don't think you are.
I am, Stanley. Please, Holy Mother, make my blind brother see that I speak the truth.
All right, tell me. Tell me just how serious you are about writing.
Let me call a doctor, Stanley. I think
No,
you're cracking
I
up.
want to know just how serious you are.
This much.
Oh, don't get sarcastic with me.
It wasn't sarcastic. I was telling you point blank that I think you're crazy.
You've been writing your memoirs since you were 14 years old. You still don't give a goddamn about your craft.
It's not a craft, Stanley. The craft is Indian rug weaving. My memoirs is putting down the nutty things that have happened in my life. And this conversation is getting a whole chapter of itself.
You see what I mean? You may say you're serious about it, but you don't act serious about writing.
You want me to act serious about writing? All right, watch. I would rather write a comedy sketch than feed all the starving children in the world.
I could kill you right now. Do you want me to call up CBS and just tell them to forget about this, huh? You want to forget all about this, huh? Huh? All right?
What are you getting so angry about?
I am not angry.
Yes, you are.
I'm angry about your attitude.
So why did you say you're not angry?
Your attitude stinks, you know that?
I can't believe this. Maybe to you my attitude stinks. To me it smells wonderful.
Maybe we better just forget all about this. I don't think we can write together. I'm getting older. I don't have much time left. I think I'll find somebody else.
How about Abe Burrows? He's probably waiting for you on the elevator.
That's what I'll do. I'll find somebody else. Somebody who has a bigger interest in his career than you've got.
What, you mean bigger than this?
Oh, you've got a lot to learn, my young friend.
My young friend? Jesus, now you're Abraham Lincoln? You know what I think this is all about, Stanley? I think you're scared. I think this is a terrific way to put off sitting down and writing. That's what I think.
Go on. Go visit your girlfriend. I just hope to God she's got money and is willing to support you, because you'll never make a penny in this world on your own, you little shit.
You see what I mean about brothers writing together? They're too busy sibling all the time. But in a way, Stan was right. I wasn't concentrating because I was afraid I was losing the greatest girl in the world. Being in love's a definite career killer.
I have another idea.
Lucky for me, Stan was real dedicated. What's the idea?
Well, it's not an idea for a sketch, but I think I know what we've been doing wrong.
You do?
Tell me what you think we've been doing wrong.
What we've been doing wrong?
What's the essential ingredient in every good comedy sketch we've ever seen?
I don't know. What?
No, you do know. You're just not thinking.
What's the essential ingredient in every good sketch we've ever seen?
Right.
I don't know what.
Now, come on, you know it. We've talked about it. You're just not thinking.
Stan, I don't want to take a high school exam. Tell me so I can write the sketch.
The essential ingredient is conflict. Remember? Remember the night we talked about conflict?
Yes.
You do remember?
Thursday, September 7th, 8:45 p.m.
All right. Now, what's the other essential ingredient in every good comedy sketch we've ever seen?
More conflict?
Well, you know it. You're just not thinking. Think about it. Do you know it?
Yeah. It's when one brother wants to kill the other brother.
Yes!
Yes, that's it.
Well, it's close. You said it in that sentence. Do you remember what you said in that sentence?
No, it was too long ago.
One brother wants to kill the other brother. The key word is wants. In every good comedy, well, even in drama, somebody's gotta want something. They gotta want it bad. They want to get some money or get a girl or get to Philadelphia. Now, if somebody tries to stop them from getting money or getting a girl or getting to Philadelphia, that's conflict. Now, wanting plus conflict equals what?
Oh, please, God, don't let me get this wrong. A job at CBS?
Right!
How do you know all this?
I watch all the comedy shows. I take notes. I figure it out. I think scientifically. I think that's why I'm so good at gin rummy. I always remember what the other guy picks up.
So now that you know all this, do you have an idea for a sketch?
No. Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
What did you think about
While you were doing all that explaining to me,
it? Come on, tell it to me.
all right. So there's a guy and a girl. They're in bed together.
Who are
I don't know. Just a guy and a girl.
they? Well, what do they do? Is he a cop, a doctor, an insurance salesman,
It
what?
doesn't matter.
Details are always better for character. If he's a cop, maybe there's some police jokes in it.
Okay, he's a cop. Patrolman John J. Mahoney works in the 4th District, 27th Precinct of Manhattan, on the night shift from 10 to 6. He's got this partner, Patrolman Vito
You're
Mendez.
a
He's got
real
couple
pain
of
in the
kids.
ass, you know that?
All right, so this cop is in bed with a girl. Maybe they're married.
Maybe they're
They're
married?
married. They had a wonderful wedding. 400 guests catered by the Paramount Cable.
All right! Go
Hey,
on!
shut up in there! I can't sleep! Let's get into another business!
Sorry, Grandpa.
All right, guy and a girl, they're in bed together.
Right, they're in bed together. She's got a broken leg.
I like that.
Thank God.
All right, now, well, what time of year is it? Winter, spring, summer?
Oh, it's winter. It's 15 degrees outside. Winds are 21 miles per hour, and the barometer is falling.
Did I ask? Go on.
They're both in bed. She has a broken leg. The window is open. It's freezing in the room. She asks him to get up to close the window, so he rushes over in his pajamas, but the window is frozen, so he pushes down on it with all his might and slips his disc. He can't move. She can't move. The window is still open, and they're both freezing to death. So how do they close the window?
How?
Well, I don't know. It's just the beginning. I just thought that two people who couldn't move in the freezing room was a funny idea. Do you like it?
I like some of it.
I only told you some of it. That's all there is some of it. What part didn't you like?
The logic. Why doesn't she just call a doctor?
I don't know. He's not in. He went to a Broadway show.
At 2 in the morning?
They stole his car in the parking lot.
Well, why doesn't she call another doctor?
They're at a convention in Cleveland.
What, every doctor in New York City?
She broke her finger. She can't dial.
All 10 fingers.
It's just a comedy sketch. Does it have to be so logical? We're not drawing the plans for the Suez Canal.
Yes, we are. It's not funny if it's not believable.
Oh, like the Three Stooges are believable. Mo is 55 years old, wears bangs, and sticks his fingers in his brother's eyes.
The Three Stooges. That's the kind of comedy you want to write. That's for morons!
Really? Well, the morons made it to Hollywood, and the geniuses are freezing in Brighton Beach.
I'm not going to settle for crap, Gene. If we're going to be good, we're going to be the best.
Well, I can't think of anything else.
But let's keep trying.
Their phone is out of order?
Too easy. Too coincidental.
Too easy. It took me 20 minutes to think of that.
Well, don't give up. Let me tell you the idea again.
All right.
There's a guy and girl, they're in bed together. It's the middle of winter, and it's
wait
freezing.
a minute. What if he's not a cop? What if he's a doctor? Then we don't have to worry about calling a doctor.
If he's a doctor, then he fixes them both up, and there's no sketch!
That's fine with me!
All right, her leg is broken. So he rushes over to the window, but...
And he trips on a wire and pulls out the telephone cord.
So they can't call the doctor. You know what we are, Gene? We're a couple of goddamn geniuses. That's what we are. Come on, now we can write the sketch.
So, at 10 to 7 in the evening, we had the idea for the sketch that would launch our careers, and we began to write. By 11:30 that night, we'd filled up 3 whole pads and not written a single usable word.
I can't keep my eyes open. Why don't we take a half an hour break?
Well, how about an hour?
30 minutes. That's all. You got no discipline. Now don't let me fall asleep.
You still up?
I thought you might be hungry.
No, I had dinner at work. They had food sent in. We have to get the spring lineup out by next Thursday. Everyone's working overtime. Jacobson's sleeping in his office.
Oh, because you said you might be home for dinner tonight.
No, I told you the whole week, maybe into Monday or Tuesday. Everyone is exhausted. No wonder they're not all sick.
I have some tea heated up. Why don't you sit with me for a few minutes?
Let me take a shower first. I'm all sweated up. I smell from the cutting room.
In 33 years, it's never bothered me before. I'll get the tea.
How are the boys?
I haven't seen them all night. They've been upstairs writing. Stanley thinks they might be able to get something in television.
Television? Maybe 10 people in this country own a television. There's no money unless there's volume. He's better off at Abraham and Strauss.
Well, if he gets this, he's thinking of quitting. Yesterday, he was looking for an apartment in the city. I think he and Eugene are getting ready to move out.
He's gonna pay New York rent on a job he doesn't have yet? He's got a good future at A&S, for God's sake. He's got security there. What do either one of them know about show business?
It's what they want to do.
Well, what you want to do and making a living are two different things. You don't keep a roof over your head by doing what you want to do. You do what you have to do.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but if they don't try this now, when will they ever have the chance?
Chance at what? It's a 1 in a million shot. Who knows if they have any talent? You ever see anything they wrote?
Oh, they read me something once. They got upset when I didn't laugh. They didn't tell me it was supposed to be funny.
Well, if you didn't laugh, what chance they got with the 10 people with television sets? It's crazy. It's not for them. I'll talk to Stanley tomorrow.
It's not your decision, Jack. They're grown boys. They do what they want now. And we don't need their money. It's just you and me and Papa. And if Blanche can get Papa to move to Florida, it'll just be the two of us. It's a different world now. They got more opportunities than we ever had. You never had a chance to look around. You had to take the first job that came along. Sometimes I forget what you gave up in order to take care of a family.
Was I complaining? Did I say I gave anything up? I wasn't that brilliant or educated to give anything up. But I made the most of what I did. And maybe to some people I didn't accomplish anything important. But as a cutter, I'm one of the best, one of the most respected. Ask anybody.
Oh, I don't have to ask. I know.
You think I don't know what's going on in Stanley's mind? You think I don't know what he's looking for? Actresses, showgirls, that's what he's looking for.
Not
and for this, he's willing to give up security in the future.
Not everyone is looking for showgirls, Jack.
Is he afraid of hard work? Is he afraid of putting in regular hours? I've done it for a lifetime and killed me.
No, it hasn't killed you. But the one thing I was always sorry about was that you never had a chance to do something with your life that you enjoyed more.
I don't understand you. I've been a cutter for 33 years. Why do you bring up a thing like that now for?
Because you seem different to me. Because for the first time I see the unhappiness in your face. You look older to me, Jack.
I look older because I'm older.
No, that's not what I see. What I see is disappointment in your eyes.
I'll take a shower. I'll get a good night's sleep. It'll be gone in the morning.
I look every morning, and it's never gone. Maybe it's me you're disappointed in.
What are you talking about?
I don't know what I'm talking about. You tell me.
Tell you what? You got something on your mind, then say it.
Maybe I'm afraid if I say it, you're liable to tell me what I don't want to hear.
Listen, Kate, it's been a long day. I'm tired. Whatever this is about, we'll talk about it in the morning.
I just want to know what you're planning to do.
Planning to do about what?
Whatever's been going on, I want it to stop. I don't want to know who she is or what she's like, and I don't want any more lies. I just want tonight to be the end of it. And I promise, as God is my witness, I'll never talk about it again.
You think I'm carrying on with some woman? Where do you get such ideas from?
Two things a woman doesn't have to be told. When she's pregnant and when her husband stops loving her. Maybe you think we've had enough years of loving each other, but I will not live out the rest of my life being humiliated.
Well, who's been talking to you? What goddamn liar's been telling you such things? Nothing is going on. What's happened to us when we can't believe each other anymore?
Maybe it's the way you look at me when you say you're telling the truth.
There is no other woman.
Why not?
What?
Why not? You're a healthy man, you're affectionate, you're as normal as anyone else. We haven't been together as a man and wife since God knows when. So if you're saying it's not me and you're swearing there's no one else, then I want to know why not.
Hey, let's not get into all this. I beg
No, don't beg me. Don't tell me how trusting we were. We passed all that years ago. It's just the two of us now, Jack. And if you're telling me that I'm not enough, then I want you to take your things and get out. Get out, goddammit. I will not be pointed at from windows as I walk down the street.
There is no other woman.
I don't care. Just stop it.
Look, I know I've changed. I know I'm different.
Yes, you are.
I've lost my feelings for everything. Getting up in the morning, going to bed at night. Why do I do it? Maybe it was the war. War came along, and after that, nothing was the same. I hated poverty, but I know how to deal with it. I don't know my place anymore. When I was a boy in Temple, I looked at all the old men and thought, they're so wise, they must know all the secrets of the world. Well, I'm a middle-aged man, I don't know a damn thing. Wisdom doesn't come with age, it comes with wisdom. I'm not wise, I never will be. I don't even lie very well. There was a woman about a year ago. I met her in a restaurant on 7th Avenue. She worked in a bank, a widow, not all that attractive, but refined woman. She spoke very well, better educated than I was. It was a year ago, Kate. It didn't last very long. I never thought it would. And it's over now. I've hurt you. And God knows you have every right to be. Then I apologize. I'm sorry. But I'll be truthful with you. I didn't tell it to you just now of any great sense of honesty. I told you because I couldn't carry the weight of all that guilt around on my back anymore.
How old a woman?
Don't get into all that, Kate. If you want to have your anger, then throw something at me, but don't ask me questions about her. Let's talk about you and me. Tell me how we can get through all this, but who or what she is not important anymore.
How old a woman?
God. Oh, mate, you won't be happy till you dig into this, will you? 44, 45, I don't know. I never asked her.
What did you talk about?
When?
That first day in the restaurant.
I don't remember. We just talked.
Well, it must have been about something. The soup, the chicken, the fruit cup. How do these things start, Jack? I never heard one before.
I don't know who you're trying to hurt more, Kate, you or me.
What did you talk about in the restaurant?
Anything, everything. We talked about the weather, about politics, music.
You get 45 minutes for lunch. Besides eating, that's a lot of ground to cover, wasn't it?
Yes! It was a lot of ground to cover. Is that the answer you wanted, Kate?
Why her? Why, after 33 years of marriage, is she the one you picked?
Don't, for Christ's sake, make me say nice things about her. If you want me to say she was a tramp, all right, she was a tramp. I had an affair with a peroxide blonde tramp, Kate. Is that all right?
I wish to God it was a tramp I could handle, but that's not your nature, Jack, and I want to know why she was a wife.
This is a mistake, Kate. A mistake we'll both regret as God is my judge. Why this woman? Because she had an interest in life besides working in a bank or taking care of her house. To her, the world was bigger than that. She read books I never heard of. She talked about places I never knew existed. When she talked, I just listened. And when I talked, I suddenly found myself saying things I never knew I felt. Because she asked me questions that I had to answer. Learning about yourself can be a dangerous thing, Kate. Some people like me are better off leaving well enough alone. The things you were afraid to hear, I won't tell you, because they're true. It lasted less time than you think. But once was enough to hurt, I realized that. I never ate in that restaurant again, and I have never once seen her again. Now, if either one of us feels better now that I've told you all that, then shame on both of us. If I killed a man on the street, you'd probably stand by me, maybe even understand it. So why is this the greatest sin that can happen between a man and wife?
Because I'm not strong enough to forgive it.
I didn't expect you to.
What do you expect?
Not clever enough to answer that.
This refined, educated woman, if I left you, would you go to her?
She wouldn't have me. She's content with her life the way it is.
But if she would have you, would you go to her?
No!
Why not?
Because I know where I belong.
Here? Is this where you belong, Jack? In a house with a woman who hasn't read the right books or traveled any further in the world than the subway could take her? I take care of a house and I raised a family. But I don't know the questions to ask you that'll make you feel the things you want to feel. No, Jack, this isn't where you belong anymore.
If I felt that way, I would have left last year.
Oh, you left. You didn't move out, but you left.
I know we've not been the same together, not for a long time. For that, I'm sorry.
So you stay with me because she won't have you? Oh, I got some bargain, didn't I, Jack?
So, what do you want to do?
What do I want to do? Is that how this works? You'll have an affair, and I get the choice of forgetting about it or spending the rest of my life alone? Oh, it's so simple for you. I am so angry. I am so hurt by your selfishness. You break what was good between us and leave me to pick up the pieces. And still you continue to lie to me.
I told you everything.
Oh, I knew about that woman a year ago. I got a phone call from a friend. She says, what's going on with you and Jack? Are you two still together? Who's this woman he's having lunch with every day? I said, did you see them together? She says, no, but I heard. And I said, don't believe what you hear, believe what you see. And I hung up on her. Did I do good, Jack? Did I protect my husband like a good wife should? For a year I lived with him, hoping to God it wasn't true. And if it was, praying that it would soon be over. And God was good to me. No more phone calls. No more stories about Jack and his lunch partner. No more wondering why you were working late when it wasn't even the busy season. Until this morning. Guess who calls me this morning? Guess who Jack was having lunch with twice in the same restaurant last week? Last year's lies don't hold up this year, Jack. This year you have to deal with it.
It's true. I saw her again last week. Twice in the same restaurant, once in another restaurant.
And where else, Jack? Do you always sit, or do you sometimes lie down? Twice I went to that phone tonight to call to see if you were really working late. But I was so afraid to hear that you left early, I couldn't even dial the number. How is it possible I could hate you so much after loving you all my life?
Would you believe me if I told you it was lunch and nothing else?
I can't talk about this anymore. Sleep down here. Sleep anywhere you want except next to me.
She's just a friend now, Kate, that's all.
Is that what you tell her I am? Just a wife?
She had to leave her job for 6 months. I knew what had happened, but I couldn't get in touch with her. Her son was killed in an automobile accident. So I have lunch with her and talk about anything else except the accident.
If you see this woman again, I want you to take your things and move out of this house.
I slept with this woman before, and you forgave me. So now I buy her lunch and offer her compassion. And for this you want to end the marriage.
I never expected to get through life without you touching another woman. But having feelings for her is something I can never forgive.
Why didn't you wake me?
What?
You were supposed to wake me at 12:30.
What time is it?
It's 25 to 1. We overslept.
5 minutes? You're yelling about 5 minutes.
Keep moving. If we fall asleep again, we're dead. Come on, keep moving. Get some oxygen into your brain.
All right, don't slap me. My brains are up.
All right, read back to me what we got.
All right. We don't have anything.
Well, read back to me the stuff we crossed out.
What's all crossed out?
Read it back anyway. If I hear it again, I'll know I was wrong. Then we can get it right.
But there's 3 pads of it. It'll take us an hour to read back what took us 4 hours to write, what we didn't like in the first place.
Why are you fighting me so much, Eugene? The more you fight me, the more pressure I feel. I need a clear head. I don't need all this pressure. Just read it, will you? Please?
A bedroom, about midnight. It is February and you see frost on the windows. One of the windows is open, we see the curtain blowing in. We hear teeth chattering from the bed.
I can't hear it. I can't focus. I can't concentrate. Can you hear it?
Yeah, but I'm sitting a lot closer to me.
Let me talk to myself for a minute. Stanley, stop it. Will you listen to what he's reading? You've been waiting your whole life for an opportunity like this. Don't be a schmuck. All right. Read the rest. Okay.
A woman speaks. Her name is Shirley. Shirley says, I can't read it, the rest is crossed out.
Let me see it. What did you black it out for? You're just supposed to cross it out. Never black out anything ever again. Next time I want a thin, simple line.
Do you want me to take a drawing class?
Maybe we'd better think of another idea. If we're stuck this long, there must be something wrong with this one.
It's going to take just as long to get another idea.
It's all tightening up inside. It's all constricted. I can't think. Oh, this is hard, Eugene. Really hard.
I know.
I won't give up if you won't give up.
I won't give up.
I love being a writer.
Me too.
It's just the writing that's hard.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be a rewriter. I'm terrific at fixing up things that are already written.
Well, like an editor? Every writer needs an editor.
I don't want to hold you back, Eugene. If we don't get this job, if we don't finish this sketch, I don't want that to stop you.
We'll come up with this. You just have to learn to relax.
Because there's a couple of writers I know, Marvin Rose and Alan Zwicker. They once wrote something for Milton Berle. They'd take you on if I asked them.
Don't ask them. I don't want to write it.
They're very good. Not as good as we are, but at least you'd make a living.
If they're not as good as us, what are we stopping for?
We're not stopping. We're just planning ahead. Like I do in Gin Rummy. We could be the greatest, Gene. We could be the greatest comedy writing team in history. If I just could learn to deal with the pressure!
It's not easy for me either.
I feel better now. Glad we had this talk. Reassures me that that you want to stick with me. I feel more relaxed now.
So do I.
Now if I could only think of an idea!
We'll come up with one. I know we will. What if,
Oh, God. Tell us an idea, God. I'm here, God! Tell it to me! Give us an idea for a sketch that makes you laugh.
It was the biggest night of my life, and here I was sick in bed. I took Josie ice skating at Rockefeller Center, and I fell down 7 times and came home with 102 fever. Jewish guys are never good at sports, play between November and April. We came in with a finished sketch a few days late, and although CBS didn't think we were ready for big-time television, they did put us on small-time radio, Saturday night at 6 o'clock, when everybody's getting dressed or getting ready, but not listening to CBS radio. It was an experimental comedy show to develop new talent, and there were 6 young writers. We knew our future was on the line that night, but it wasn't CBS we were worried about. And Mom and Pop's approval meant the most to us.
No, Ma, no fruits, no nuts, no food at all.
Why not?
You want a room full of people eating cashew nuts? They won't hear anything.
They can eat fruit. Bananas and oranges don't make noise.
9 minutes to 6 and Pop's not home yet. I don't believe this. Of all the nights in the world.
I don't know what to do about Eugene. He shouldn't be downstairs with the flu.
Are you kidding? He'd be down here with leprosy. We pile up the pieces in the chair next to the radio. He wouldn't miss this. Oh, where's Grandpa?
Oh, he's taking his nap. I told him I'd wake him up right before it goes on.
We're on in 9 minutes. It takes Grandpa 12 minutes just to put on his slippers. Grandpa, come on, the show is on!
What kind of cookies do you want with your tea?
No teeth, no cookies. That's all I need, people to be rattling their cups and you saying, watch your crumbs.
Well, I was doing it for you, not for me.
Oh, don't do it for me. I want it quiet so you can hear the laughs. What's the matter with the radio? Is it plugged in? The radio is broken. I don't believe this. The radio is broken.
You have to let it warm up first.
It never takes this long. No. No. The radio is broken.
You see,
Do you hear that? It doesn't sound clear to me. Does it sound clear to you?
I hear it fine.
Must be all the ice on the wires. I hate winter.
Stanley, you're gonna get an ulcer. You were never this nervous when you worked at Abraham and Strauss.
That's because nobody ever tuned in before to listen to me sell boys' clothing. I don't see Pop. I don't even hear the train.
Well, you told him 6 o'clock, didn't you?
500 times. I pinned a note to his pajamas last night. Where could he be?
I don't know. I'll go get Grandpa.
No, I'll do it. You turn off the TV. It'll start whistling in the middle of the program.
Mom and Pop were still together, but you'd never notice it. Almost a month had gone by since the big fight, and they barely spoke to each other. And when they did speak, they spoke in the third person. Is he coming home for dinner tonight? He doesn't know. He'll let her know. She doesn't care. Let him do what he wants. I kept looking around to see if there was another couple there.
Gene, come on. We're almost on. Grandpa, come on! Gene and I are going to become capitalists! Pop's not home yet.
You're kidding.
Some audience we've got. A mother who doesn't say hello to a father who's not home yet, and a grandfather who hasn't laughed since the stock market crashed.
My hair hurts. My pajamas hurt.
You have 102 fever.
Why did they waste years developing the thermometer? You could make a fortune just feeling people in hospitals.
There's the train. Even if he runs, Pop'll never make it now.
Have I got time to go to the bathroom?
We're on in 3 minutes.
You go when you have to go. Go on.
You got today's paper?
The paper, we won't see him till next Tuesday. Grandpa, didn't I hear you in the bathroom 5 minutes ago?
Was that me? You're right. Forget it. I don't have to go.
Don't sit here. This Pop's chair. Sit over there.
Oh, don't sit there. There's always a draft in that spot.
Here, let me sit here. I want to put my feet up. They're swollen again.
Boy, this is the toughest seat in town to get.
There's a few people getting off the train. It's so dark, though, I can't make out any faces.
So, what kind of story is this?
Well, it's not a story. It's a variety show. It's music and sketches and monologues and comedy interviews. It's entertainment.
Why, because they got nothing to say.
It's not supposed to say anything.
There's nothing to say. 3/4 of the world in economic slavery, and there's nothing to say.
They didn't want any sketches on economic slavery, Grandpa. They're looking for laughs, not an uprising.
There's nothing wrong with a good laugh. We could all use a good laugh around here.
What time is it?
Jesus, it's almost dawn and he's not home.
God, my heart is pounding.
Does anyone want a date? Dates don't make noise.
Nobody wants anything.
Please, God, don't let us be humiliated.
And Blanche has all her friends listening. Grandma has everyone in her apartment in Miami. Everybody in Brighton Beach is tuned
Yeah, but
in.
try to get them to read a newspaper, and they're too busy.
It's almost dawn. Here it comes.
Good luck, Stan.
Good luck, Huge.
From New York City, the Columbia Broadcasting System presents The Chubby Waters Show, starring Chubby Waters, and featuring Fred C. Sherman, Grace Dooley, John Paloma, Sarah McLaren, John Dunninger, Dick Ambrose and his Boller Orchestra, and special guest star, Pepito, the only Spanish-speaking dog in the English-speaking world.
They got a Spanish-speaking dog.
Wait till you hear him. He's hysterical.
He really speaks Spanish, or they taught it to him?
He can bark, see. Whatever you ask him, the dog says, see.
If he can speak Spanish, the audience won't understand him. They're not as smart as the dog.
Why didn't they say your names?
At the end of the program, if they have time. If we're not fired before it's over. Is it on?
Here it comes.
Now, the star of the Chubby Waters Show, Mr. Chubby Waters.
Stanley, not so close. You're gonna go deaf.
I'm kind of nervous, this being my first big-time New York program. I'm from Decatur, Illinois. Our humor is a lot slower out there. I had my own program in Decatur, and when I told a joke, they didn't laugh until next week's show.
Oy vey!
Decatur's kind of a small town. I'll tell you how small it is. Some guys drove through town and threw a snowball at us, and we were shoveling it out for a week.
Did that really happen?
No, Ma, it's just a joke.
Decatur's sort of an agricultural town. We sell all the fruit and vegetables that drop off of trucks passing through.
Only in America this man could make a living.
Are you gonna do this all night?
Census taker told us the average family in Decatur has about 2.5 children. Most families prefer to have 2 girls and half a boy. The reason being that with half a girl, you still got to buy the whole dress. But with half a boy, you only got to buy the pants.
You wrote this.
No, one of the other guys.
Stay away from him, he's crazy.
Great. Can't even hear the program in my own living room.
Lincoln left Springfield, Illinois. His first speech was supposed to be in Decatur. But his legs were too long, and darn if he didn't step over us.
In Russia, he'd be shot by now.
My own grandfather.
Folks back home are really rooting for me, because if I don't make good, I'll have to go back to Decatur. But a new baby was born there yesterday, and well, I lost my space.
Why is he telling us this?
It's a monologue. He's warming up the audience.
He'd be better off to send up Pete.
Appreciate meeting you. I'll be right back when I make my first tour through New York City. And and meet the Pitkin family.
That's us. Ours is next, Gene. Pop, you made it. You're just in time.
Sorry, Aunt, I couldn't help it.
No, it's okay. You didn't miss anything.
Sit over here, Pop. You can hear perfectly from here.
3 trains are frozen to the tracks. It's some mess out there.
The comedian's name is Chubby Waters. He's a little corny, but the networks like it.
He's about to visit the Pitkin family from Coney Island. That's ours.
Does he want anything to eat?
He'll take something after. Thank her anyway.
You're not going to get big laughs from people who call each other him and her.
When he arrived in New York, Mr. Charles Chubby Waters decides to visit the city he's always dreamed of, ever since he was born half a child in Decatur, Illinois.
I'll explain that later, Pop.
But it's not the Empire State or the Statue of Liberty or Grant's Tomb that Mr. Waters wants to see. It's the people. For it's the people who make our cities great. And so he decided to take the subway. Being half a person, he walks under the turnstile and rides out to Coney Island. He gets off, smelling the fresh seawater and the stale frankfurter rolls, and walks through the historic streets and rings the bell of Mr. and Mrs. Morris Pitkin.
That's sound effects.
Yes?
How do you do? My name is Chubby Waters. May I ask, have you ever heard of me?
Not that I heard of.
Well, I'm a radio comedian, and I have a brand new show on CBS starting this Saturday night at 6. Will you be listening to it?
Only if you can make a pot roast.
Is that anything like a roast ham?
Not in this neighborhood.
I'm trying to familiarize myself with New Yorkers, and I wondered if I could come in and say hello to your family.
Why? My family doesn't say hello to my family.
I don't mean to impose, but it would be very helpful to me. I'd be most grateful.
All right. Wipe your feet.
Certainly. There. They're clean.
Your shoes are clean. I meant the feet. Take your socks off, too.
Certainly. There. Now everything's clean. Oh, what a pretty house. I like your furniture. What style would you call it?
Sacrifice. That's what you have to do to get it. She reminds me of someone, but I can't think of her.
Is that a new rug?
Where?
Well, that thing rolled up in the corner.
No, that's my father-in-law.
He sleeps on the floor?
He likes to sleep on newspapers because if he wakes up in the middle of the night, he's got something to read.
Oh, a well-read bed.
Step over the papers, please. If you get print on your bare feet, it'll be all over my father-in-law.
I'll put my socks back on. Is it possible to meet your husband?
Sure, do what I do. Write in for an appointment. He's in here, but be quiet. He's working.
What does he do?
He's in ladies' pajamas.
How do you feel about your husband being in ladies' pajamas?
That's the sacrifice I had to make to get the furniture.
Everything we wrote scored a bullseye. The only sad note was that, although we were smashed at CBS, we came up real short in the living room in Brighton Beach. The 30 minutes went by about as quickly as the Middle Ages. Finally, our agony was over.
The Chubby Waters Show was a Steve Coleman Mel Jason production in association with the Columbia Broadcasting System. Pepino the Talking Dog appeared through the courtesy of RKO Pictures. The producer of the Chubby Waters Show is Jeff Bishop, directed by Todd Allen, and written by Michael Solomon, Larry Shapiro, Frank Connolly, Donald Price, and Stanley and Eugene Gerard.
Jerome! Gerard doesn't even sound like Jerome, you stupid idiot! We should have been at rehearsals. Maybe we should get a lawyer.
It was a great audience, though, wasn't it, Stan?
At least we got through it, Huge. At least we got through it.
Well, I liked it. It was lively. The actors all were good. Everybody remembered their lines.
It's radio, Ma. They read from scripts.
But did you really like it, Mom?
Oh, what do you mean? Did I really like it? You were in the audience laughing.
That was them, not you.
Well, there were too many funny lines. They came so fast, I didn't know where to laugh. Next week, make it slower.
Where are you going?
Oh, I have to go next door to Mrs. Slutsky's to borrow some honey for this one's tea. I'm very proud of both of you.
I can go.
You have a date in half hour, don't you? It's worth it to me to catch a cold to see you get married.
I'm gonna finish my nap.
You didn't like it. I can tell.
I didn't say I hate it either. If I don't hate something, it's not bad.
What was wrong with it?
Well, to me, comedy has to have a point. What was the point to this?
To make people laugh?
That's not a point. To make people aware, that's a point. Political satire you should have written. You could change half the world with political satire. Think about that sometime.
Political satire. We're lucky we came up with a few good jokes.
I could teach you how to write it. You sneak in a couple of remarks about what's wrong with our political system. If you make it funny enough, CBS will never even notice.
Can't you just see it, Stanley? The Socialist Review starring Chubby Trotsky. We'd be writing it from jail.
I like the talking dog, CC. He didn't make any points, but he made me laugh. CC!
You haven't said anything yet, Pop. Is something wrong?
Tell you the truth, I had a hard time listening.
Why?
Sit down, boys, both of you. It was us you were writing about tonight, wasn't it? The family.
No, not really.
Not really. You don't think you made fun of this family tonight?
That's all the families out here. In Brighton Beach or Brooklyn or Coney Island, they all sound like that. It's nobody in particular.
I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, but listen, the woman says, my family doesn't say hello to my family. That wasn't your mother? If that wasn't your mother, who was it?
It was all the mothers that live out here. They all sound like that. That's what happens in neighborhoods. Everybody talks alike.
Everyone in this area knows about your grandfather. He falls asleep in buses and trains in the library. So you have a grandfather on the show who falls asleep on newspapers on the floor. People who are out here listening know who you're talking about, and you're not ashamed to put a thing like that on the radio.
He heard it. He never said a word. He didn't think it was him.
I don't care if he said a word or not. I knew it was him, and you knew it was him. Makes no difference who he thought it was. You don't poke fun at your own grandfather in front of the whole world.
We'd never poke fun at him. We love Grandpa, but old people fall asleep a lot, so we just wrote it down. It's just a coincidence.
And what about her husband? What did you say about him on the radio?
Nothing. Eugene, what's the lady in the program say her husband does?
He's in ladies' pajamas.
And I'm in ladies' raincoats, right?
A man being in ladies' pajamas just sounds funny. It's a joke.
Are you going to pretend you don't know what's going on between your mother and me? You're not deaf, you're not blind, you must know something is going on, right? I don't know what she tells you. I don't know what story she fills your heads with. God knows what she must say to you about me.
She never said a word to me, I swear.
But you know something is going on, right?
In a house with walls like these, you know everything.
Yeah. Let me tell you something else. Not only do these walls have ears, the walls on the house next door have them. And the ones on the house next to that one have them. The whole damn neighborhood has them. In a community like this, everyone knows everybody else's business. So what do you think happens when the people in Brighton Beach hear a radio program where a woman who sounds familiar tells us her husband is in ladies' pajamas? And they know what that means. They understand the innuendo. When they hear that on the radio, what are they thinking? When they know the two sons of the man in ladies' pajamas wrote the program. Tell me what they're thinking.
I know what you're getting at, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Can you promise me that? Can you give me a written guarantee? Because the only thing people like better than gossip is filth, and that's what those people heard on the radio tonight.
What are you talking about? That's crazy.
I will never forgive either one of you for ridiculing me me in front of my neighbors, my friends, in front of strangers. You'll never know how many people I called up to tell to turn on the program because I was so proud of my two sons. It's a mistake I won't make again.
You might have been proud to them. You never encouraged us. If it were up to you, I'd still be selling boys' clothing.
Well, after what I heard tonight, I wish to God you were.
Stanley, stop it! Cut it out! Pop, I'm sorry you feel this way. We both are, but I swear we never thought of you and Mom when we wrote the sketch. We just thought of older couples who lived in the neighborhood. But when it got down on paper, I guess it sounded like the ones we knew best. But it wasn't intentional, I swear.
You know what I thought when I heard it? I swear to God. I thought, it's their way of getting back at me for hurting their mother. Is that so impossible to imagine?
No, not so impossible.
Yeah, well, maybe we're getting closer to the truth now. So what did she tell you about this woman? Did she tell you what she was like?
She never said anything to me, I swear.
You seem to have feelings about it. Where'd you get them from? Someone you know from New York? You got a lot of friends there, right? Because let me tell you something. No matter what you heard, you will never find a kinder, more decent human being on the face of this earth. You understand me?
Go to hell.
What did you say?
I said go to hell!
Stanley, don't!
She could be Joan of Arc for all I care. That's still my mother we're talking about. You can do whatever you goddamn please. Don't blame me and Jean for humiliating you when you're the one that's been humiliating us. You're so damn guilty about what you did. You're pointing the finger at everybody else for betraying you. I didn't want to know what was going on between you and Mom. I used to pray every night that you two would patch it up and it would just pass out of our lives. You could have called each other him and her the rest of your lives if it would have kept you together. All my life you taught me about things, Pop. Things like dignity and principles, and I believed them. I still do, I guess. But what kind of principles does a man have when he tells his sons that the woman he's seeing on the side is a decent, wonderful human being?
Either you've grown up too fast, or I've outlived my usefulness in this house.
Jesus. I can't believe what just happened. I'm shaking, I swear to God.
Do you think what I said was wrong?
No, I just don't know if you should have said it.
I didn't bring it up, did I? I never accused him of anything. Eugene, all of my friends' fathers screwed around sometimes, maybe all the time, but they never asked their sons to take the other woman into the family.
Well, you didn't say it like
Well,
that.
screw you, Eugene. What are you taking his side for? What, are you going to send her a Mother's Day present
I'm
now?
not taking his side. He's changed these last few years, I know that, but you don't know his side. You don't know the whole story.
He didn't listen to a word we wrote on that program tonight. Jesus, he's so paranoid he thought it was all about him. The one night in our lives we want his approval, he tells us what shits we are. Maybe I've outlived my usefulness in this house, he says. What, is that our fault? Another truckload of guilt dumped at our feet? Well, he can keep the goddamn house because I'm getting out. The both of us. It's time to go, Eugene. We've been looking for a chance to leave. This is our chance. This is no place for us here. They liked our work over at CBS. We can afford a place in New York now. I mean, we gotta go, Eugene, and we gotta go soon. Well, if you're not gonna come, I'll go alone.
No, you're right. Stanley, I think we should go. I just wish it didn't have to be when everything was so bad here.
Look, there's 2 or 3 places I saw last week. One over on the west side with the backyard that gets the sun. Perfect for parties. It'll be better for us, Huge, you'll see. You could see your girlfriend more often. You can have your own room. You can have your girlfriend stay overnight.
No, she's not that kind.
Well, then bring over the kind that do and take your girlfriend to the movies.
Stan, when we were writing this sketch, did you think we were writing about Mom and Pop?
No. It's like you said, it's everybody out here. I thought the father was Mr. Greenblatt. Joe Panatti's grandfather once fell asleep in his own oatmeal. He nearly suffocated.
I did. I thought it was about Mom and Pop and Grandpa. They were the ones I was writing about.
Well, okay, so maybe it was a little bit about them, too.
No, it was only them. The joke about him being in ladies' pajamas, I didn't mean it the way Pop said. To me, it was just a joke, but maybe I did it subconsciously the way Pop said.
Well, if it's subconscious, it's not a crime, Eugene.
I was the one who should have had the fight with him. Only I didn't realize I was so angry. It's like this part of my head that makes me this nice, likable, funny kid. And the other part, the part that writes, that's an angry, hostile, real son of a bitch.
Well, you better make friends with that son of a bitch, because he's the one that's going to make you a hell of a living someday. Hello? Joe! Yeah, did you hear it? What'd you think? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta tell Eugene. Joe Panatti still can't stop laughing. He thought it was better than Jack Benny. What? What? No, you're kidding. What? Wait a minute. His parents thought it was so typical. They thought it was about them. They loved it. What? Oh yeah, my family was crazy about it. Yeah, my father thought it was great.
Who's that on the phone?
Joe Panatti, Stan's friend. He loved the show.
Why shouldn't he? Where's your father?
Up in his room. Your room.
The program's over. You shouldn't be downstairs. Now get back in bed.
Mom, I'm not 8 years old.
You are until you move out of this house.
Can I quote you on that? All right, Joe. Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll talk to you tomorrow. The man sells kitchenware at Abraham and Strauss. He ought to be drama critic for the Times.
So what did your father think of the show?
He thought it was very lifelike.
I'm sure he'll tell you later.
He tells me hello and goodbye. That's what he tells me. Now hurry and get dressed. Don't keep a girl waiting.
I don't believe it. They sleep in the same bed for a month and a half and they never say a word to each other.
I wonder if they say Gesundheit if the other one sneezes.
Jerry Applebaum told me his parents once didn't talk for over a year and they still made love 3 times a week.
That's more times than most people who talk to each other. If I ever married Josie, that would never happen to us. How could I sleep in the same bed with her without touching her skin and stroking her hair, telling her how much I love her? Then again, maybe that's what my father said before he married my mother.
Well, what do you think?
You look like a Jewish Cary Grant.
I've been after this girl for 6 months, but I think tonight's the night.
Well, how do you know?
She loves celebrities. Now get a good night's sleep, all right? We got a sketch to write in the morning.
Not if he's still sick. Hello, who's this? Mama! Oh, I didn't recognize your voice. You sound wonderful. You sound younger.
Is that Josie?
No, it's not Josie. Now get back into bed. No, Mama, it was Eugene.
Well, ask if she heard the
So
show.
how many friends did you make? Uh-huh. 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 Mama, you don't have to name them all. I'm glad you made friends.
Ask her if she heard the show.
So did you hear the radio program? Eugene and Stanley.
Did she like it?
She loved it.
Really?
You know who? The Pitkin family from Coney Island.
Oh my God.
No, Mom, they're actors. No, he's not a dentist. That's another family. These are actors. All right, I won't argue with you. If you know them, you know them. Oh, everyone is fine. Jack is doing very well. Blanche told you what? Well, that was months ago. Well, I'm telling you different. What are you doing standing there? I told you to get into bed. Yes, Mama, I know Papa hasn't called you. Well, he's been very busy. He asked about you all the time. No, he's in his room.
Do you want me to get Grandpa?
Mama, let it go. Mama, I don't think he means to hurt you. He just has to do things in his own way. Well, when he's ready to call you, he'll call you. Where am I taking his side? Well, you told me yourself, men are peculiar. Mama. Who told you that? Who told you that? Well, I'm not lying to you. Just don't be yelling at me and accusing me of things that you make up in your own head. I never... All right, Mom, I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry. I never told him not to go to Florida. Mom. All right. I know you do. I do too. Goodbye, Mama. I'll call you.
How about if I made you one of my famous chocolate milkshakes?
Oh, you put too much Hershey's in it. I don't like it so sweet.
You know what I thought?
What?
I thought when you grew up, you stopped having trouble with your parents.
Yeah? Well, be thankful you're still young.
I never see you stop working. When Stanley and I make enough money, we're gonna get you a maid, Ma.
A maid in Brighton Beach? People would pay money to come over and look at her. Oh my God, what are you doing? Get off of my table.
Oh, sorry, I didn't leave any marks.
Oh, marks I can clean off, but I will not have you show any disrespect to this table.
I'm sorry, I apologize, table, but is it so expensive?
My grandfather made this table with his own hands for my grandmother over 52 years ago. When I was a little girl, I used to go over to her house and she'd let me help her polish it. I didn't know it was work. I thought it was fun. Maybe because she and I did it together. I was closer to her than I was to my own mother. Is that such a terrible thing to say?
Not if it's how you felt.
When she died, she left a will. She gave away jewelry, dresses, even a little cash. But she knew what I wanted. The table you eat on means everything. This is the one time in the day when the whole family comes together. This is where you share things. People who eat out all the time don't get to be a family. And when I'm gone, if you and your Josie get married, this will be your table.
What about Stanley?
Oh, Stanley won't be so fast to get married. But when he does, you make sure he brings his family over to your house to eat.
Maybe you'll let me help you polish it with you one day.
When your wife has a little girl, send her over. She and I will polish it.
Maybe we'll have twins. You can polish it twice as fast.
What are you doing? Don't follow me around.
I'm
You
not
make me
following
nervous.
you. I just feel like talking to you. I love it when you tell me about the old days.
The old days, they were such a long time ago, I don't even remember them.
Well, you just told me about the dining room table, and that was a long time ago. What was your grandmother like?
Tiny, a little bit of a thing. All the women were small in those days. When I was 9 years old, I was bigger than her. My grandfather had to pick her up to see the Statue of Liberty.
Well, that must have been someday.
This is what they dreamed of their whole life, to come to America.
Yeah.
When they saw that statue, they all started crying. Oh, the women were wailing, the men were shaking, everyone was praying. And you know why?
Because they were free.
Because they took one look at that statue and they said, that's not a Jewish woman. We're going to have problems again.
That would be a riot. A Jewish Statue of Liberty? In her right hand, she'd be holding up a baking pan, in the left hand, an electric bill.
And my grandfather, of course, he was a socialist. He took one look at that statue and said they should have made it smaller and given the money to the people who needed it.
If your whole family is socialist, Ma, how come you're not?
Oh, not the whole family, just the men. A man doesn't fight for political causes on an empty stomach.
But you vote. You voted for President Roosevelt.
Oh, I liked him. I trusted his face. It made me a little nervous that he smoked with a cigarette holder. That was a little too fancy for me. But he had polio. And I figured a man who walked with crutches wasn't out to take advantage of the poor people.
You amaze me sometimes.
Oh, and I like Harry Truman. Him I trust too. You know why?
No.
Because he walks everywhere. 7 o'clock in the morning, he's out walking the street. Secret Service men can't even keep up with him. He was once a haberdasher. Did you know that? And I figured a man who has to get up every morning and open a store, even in winter, knows what it's like to be a working person. All right, that's enough already. Now I want you back upstairs.
I will, in a minute. First, tell me how you met George Raft.
George Raft? Did I tell you that story again? You're still going to tell me you don't believe me.
I believe you. I believe every word you say. So tell me how you met George Raft.
I've told you that story 100 times.
I know, but every time you tell it, it gets a little better. Go on.
The night I danced with him, I committed a sin. I knew God was going to punish me for it, and he did. You pay for your sins in this world.
What sin did you commit?
The day before, I was going to go to the Primrose. My Aunt Cypra died, my mother's sister. The next day, the whole family went to the funeral. I took the day off from work. And that night, we all sat at my grandmother's to sit in mourning. But I knew that night George Raft was coming to the Primrose. He was a friend of the owner's, and he promised he would come by. I never dreamed he'd dance with me. I just wanted to see him. But in the back of my mind, I thought, maybe if he sees me dancing, who knows, he might ask me to get up on the floor with him. Oh, he wasn't an actor then. Just this skinny kid who looked like Rudolph Valentino. But he was the best ballroom dancer in New York. And to dance with him made you queen of the city.
Did he flip a coin like he does in the movies?
Oh, never. But he always smoothed down his hair with his right hand. Every 2 minutes, smoothing down his hair. Oh, it got so shiny you could see your face in it.
So you went to the dance that night?
So that night, I told my mother I wasn't feeling well. I told her I'd just thrown up in the bathroom, which I didn't. So she sent me home. Now I knew she and Papa and the girls weren't going to be home till midnight. So I ran home, changed my dress, and I went to the Primrose with my girlfriend, Adele Abrams. I knew God was going to punish me. All the way over there, I kept saying to Adele, I wish I was a Catholic. That way I could go to church, confess my sins, and God would forgive me. But I knew I just committed another sin by wishing I was Catholic. I was throwing away my whole life to see this one night with George Raft.
What, did you ever, crush on him?
On George Raft? Are you crazy? He was Italian. Besides, he wasn't my type. Your father was the one I had the crush on. Since I was 13 years old. He was 5 years older than me, but he went with a whole other crowd. In those days, young people didn't tell each other they had crushes on them. You had to guess. So you sent messages with your eyes, with your face, with the way you walked by them.
Well, how did you walk by them?
Oh, not too much, not too little. But he was a hard man to figure out. Oh, he was never a fancy Dan or a show-off. He didn't smile a lot, but when he did, you knew he meant it. Young boys in those days smiled at everything. They thought it gave him a good personality. But Jack was too honest to put on a good personality. He was what he was. And to get Jack Jerome to smile, you really knew you had to impress him. Oh, but it cost him plenty. The smilers got to be the salesmen, the smilers got to be the bosses, the smilers got all the girls. Oh, your father paid the price for not being a phony. That's why I went to the Primrose that night. I thought maybe if Jack heard that I danced with George Raft, I'd get him to notice me.
This is a movie. There's a whole movie in this story, Ma. One day I'm gonna write it.
So that night, Adele and I went to the Primrose in a pouring rain. Oh, my hair got soaking wet. I lost all my curls. I wanted to die. But then I got this brilliant idea. I didn't dry it. I combed it straight down and left it wet. Jet black hair. I looked like the Latin from Manhattan. The perfect partner for George Raft. Oh, when I came out of the ladies' room, my own friends didn't recognize me.
I can't believe this is my mother you're talking about.
Oh, don't worry. I knew God was going to punish me for the wet hair, too. 10 boys must have asked me to dance, but I said no to all of them. I didn't want to tire myself out. But then I started to get scared. It was 10 after 11, and he still wasn't there. And I knew my parents were going to be home by midnight, and if they walked in and found I wasn't there, oh, with my mother, I didn't need God to punish me.
12 o'clock, Cinderella. This story is everything, Ma.
Then it got to be 20 after 11, and finally in he walks. Oh, like the king of Spain. My heart was beating louder than the drummer in the band. And he had these 2 friends with him, one on each side, like bodyguards. And I swear they had something in their inside pockets. I thought to myself, they're either guns or more jars of grease for his hair.
She actually had a sense of humor. This was a side of my mother I hardly ever saw. So he walks in with these 2 guys.
So he walks in with his 2 friends.
Yeah.
And I know I don't have much time. So I grabbed Bobby Suggetti. He was a shoe clerk, but he was the best dancer at the Primrose.
Yeah.
Now, I knew he had a crush on me, but I never gave him a tumble before. And I said, Bobby, dance with me. He didn't know what hit him. So out on the floor we go, and we fox-trotted from one end of that ballroom and back, in and out, bobbing and weaving around the crowd, gliding across the dance floor like we were a pair of ice skaters.
Begin the begin. Maybe night and day. That's what I'd use in the picture.
And I never once looked over to where George Raft was sitting. I didn't want to give him my attention. I wanted to get his.
Right.
Well, now the music ends, and Bobby dips me down to the floor. It was a little lower than a nice girl should dip. But I figured one more sin wasn't going to kill me. So now I go over to Adele, and I'm dripping with perspiration. And I said, well, did he watch me? She says, it's hard to tell. His eyes never move. And I look over at the table where he's sitting with his 2 friends, and she's right. His eyes never moved. Well, now it's 25 to 12, and I figured he hasn't even noticed me. So I said to myself, well, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Then Adele and I stood up and headed for the door.
The tension mounts. The audience is on the edge of their seats.
Okay, so now we're passing this table. George Raft stands up and says, excuse me. And he's looking right at Adele. He says, could I ask you a favor, please? And she's shaking like a leaf.
Wait, Adele? He's talking to Adele Abrams?
Yeah. So he says, I was wondering if your friend would care to dance. And she says, you want me to ask her? And he says, please, I'm a little shy.
I don't believe it. I don't believe George Raft said that.
I swear to God, may I never live to see another day.
Even if it's true, It's out of the picture. An audience would never believe it.
Fine. So Adele comes over to me and she asks me. And I look over at him and he smiles. And his eyes move for the very first time. Oh, not fresh or anything like that. But he had the look of a man with a lot of confidence. And I never saw that before. Scared me to death. So I walked over to him, and he takes my hand and leads me out onto the dance floor. Everybody in the Primrose is watching. Somebody had to whisper to the band, start playing, so they would begin. And they began. And we danced around that room. And I held my head up and my back straight as a board. And I looked down at the floor and up at the ceiling, but never in his eyes. I saw a professional do that once. And his hands were so gentle, hardly touching me at all. But I knew which way he wanted me to go and when he wanted me to turn.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What are you doing?
I want you to show me how you danced with George Raft.
Oh, show you how I danced 35 years ago. I don't even walk like I did 35 years ago.
Oh, come on, Mom. You dance with Pop every year at the Garment Industry Affair. Just show me how you danced with George Raft.
Oh, that was different then. They don't even do those steps anymore.
Not a whole dance. 2 steps. 1 turn. Well, then listen. That's the perfect music. So, he moved you gently around the dance floor.
Oh, Eugene, stop it. I'm not in the mood.
Oh, come on, Mom. I'll dance with you. I'm George Raft. Everybody's looking at us. Don't let them down, Mom.
Don't hold me so tight. Don't push me. Just with your fingertips.
Oh, you're so graceful, Mom. Never realized you were so graceful. Look, there's Adele Abrams. Adele, she's wonderful.
Now, turn me.
How?
Well, just let me go. Now, give me your hand. And then it was over.
And then what did he say?
He said, thank you. It was my pleasure. And he walked away.
We didn't even ask your name?
I didn't ask for his. Why should he ask for mine? Oh, God. I'm dripping in perspiration. And in the middle of winter, I don't know how I let you get me to do such things.
Because you liked it. Why do you always stop doing the things that make you feel good, Mom?
What's the matter? Raising you and Stanley wasn't something that made me feel good?
There's other things besides raising a family, Mom.
Yeah, so I've heard. Well, that's enough now. I want you back in bed and no more back talk.
You didn't finish the story. Did you get home before 12?
No. Trolleys were running late. I didn't get in till almost 12:30.
And what did your Mom and Pop say?
They never knew. They decided to stay over at your sister's house. Aunt Blanche was the only one that came home, and she was sound asleep. I never told anyone what I did. But in 2 days, it was all over the neighborhood. Everybody was congratulating my mother. They treated her like her daughter was some kind of movie star. But I knew she was mad, but she couldn't say anything. But then when I saw my grandmother, she took my hand, winked at me, and said, I know, darling, I know. So, now do you believe I danced with George Raft?
Yeah, I believe you.
God, I'm exhausted. Never ask me that question again. Telling the story was more tiring than dancing with him.
I think what you did that night was great, Mom. And you didn't get caught, so God didn't punish you? The movie has a happy ending.
The movie isn't over yet.
I'll be honest about one thing. Dancing with my mother was very scary. I was doing what my father should have been doing with her, but wasn't. And holding her like that and seeing her smile was too intimate for me to enjoy. Intimacy is a complex thing. You had to be careful who you shared it with. But without it, life was just breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a good night's sleep. Most people would settle for that. Most people do. I was determined not to be most people.
Since when do you work on Sundays, Jack?
Didn't expect to see you up so early. Sorry, Ben, I haven't got time to talk.
Then take the time. Where are you going, Jack?
I'm leaving, Ben. I'm moving out.
I see. Did you explain this to Kate?
I thought I'd call her in a couple of days. I'd
You
say
mean
all
in a
the
couple
wrong
of days
things.
you're going to say all the right things? When did you pack your bag?
Friday night when she was out shopping.
You should have told her, Jack. You could have saved money on food for the week.
I got to leave before she gets up.
And who's going to tell her, me? If you want me to tell her, you better pay me. I get top money for telling my daughter that her husband walked out on her.
This isn't just happening, Ben. It's been coming a long time. She may be angry when I leave.
You think she'll be angry? You walk out on her after 33 years of marriage, and all she'll be is angry? If that's how much you understand her, maybe she's better off without you.
What do you know about it? For 33 years, you were a visitor in this house. You came, you ate dinner, you went home. You didn't live with us in that bedroom up there. No matter what anyone says, what happens to a man and wife happens in the privacy of that room. Not even God himself is there all the time to listen.
You're making a mistake, Jack. No matter what she says, she'll never leave you. This thing with the other woman won't last. I know. I've had enough other women in my life. Kate will find a way to deal with it. She'll ignore it. She'll pretend it's not happening. She'll live with you and not talk to you to protect her dignity, but she won't leave you. I'm her own father. And I'm saying to you, have your affair until it's over. But don't break up something that'll last you for the rest of your life.
You don't understand. It's not an affair. I don't sleep with this woman. I did once, not now. She's sick. She's got another 5-6 more months to live. Maybe not even that.
Maybe to you that's a noble gesture, but to me, it stinks.
Oh, don't be so damn hypocritical. You've got a 72-year-old wife living alone in Florida while you stay up here pretending you're martyring yourself for a political cause you haven't been interested in for the last 20 years. Oh, I'm the last one to blame you. Where is it written that a man must love the same woman until the day he dies?
The marriage vow he took.
Well, if I took it, then you took it too, Ben.
True. Maybe I don't love anymore. Maybe I am a hypocrite. I don't have another woman, no. My mistress is privacy. I am unfaithful. I have another woman, no more. I am unfaithful to that room upstairs that lets me do anything I want. I'm having an affair with peace and quiet. But you're right. I'm no better than you.
I'm 55 years old, and I'm not ready for a room yet. I need to run. I need to get away from myself and everything I was. I have no more children left to raise. I have nothing waiting for me out there. Except one thing, something else.
I still think you're making a mistake, Jack. A big, big mistake.
Why?
Because Kate is my daughter.
I'll call the boys in a couple of days.
How long have you been up?
A few minutes. No, I heard Jack come downstairs. I thought he might want some breakfast. Did you put up some hot water?
Certainly I put up some hot water. What am I, an invalid?
You want some eggs?
No.
No eggs?
Why do you ask me if I want eggs? If I wanted eggs, wouldn't I ask you?
Don't start, Papa. It's too early in the morning.
Listen, if it'll make you feel better to make me eggs, then make them. Scrambled, not too loose.
You just said you didn't want eggs.
I don't. I'm just having it for you.
Don't ask me to make things that you don't want. I'm sorry. I hardly slept last night.
I heard the music. I heard you dancing with Eugene. I forgot all about your grandmother giving you this dining room table.
You forget a lot of things, Papa. You shouldn't have been listening.
I know, but I enjoyed it. I held the door open a crack. You got some boys, Kate. You raised them good, believe me.
So, where's Jack? Is he in the kitchen? Nobody lets me cook around here anymore. Is he in the house?
No,
Where'd he go, for a walk?
no.
Well, if he's not in the house and he didn't go for a walk, then where could he be? Why didn't you tell me, Papa? You think I wasn't expecting it?
I didn't know how to say it. You moved out, Kate. It's as simple as that.
When Mom heard the news about Pop, she didn't cry. She didn't reach for somebody to hug. She didn't make a sound. When I was in the Army, they told us, in battle, don't bother attending the wounded who are crying for help. Go to those who didn't make a sound. They were the ones in real trouble. The winter went on, and so did our careers. As the temperature got colder, Stanley and I got hotter. They doubled our salary at